If you don't mind, I'm going to change gears a little bit on this edition of What Not to Say and cover something that is near and dear to my heart. Bear with me a bit. It could get a little technical, and we may even run a little longer than normal. If I could just get your permission this once, I promise it won't happen again. Now, aren't you excited? I just violated rule number 1 in a huge way, but I feel better, and I think you're on board with me. It's a common error that I see speakers make, asking for the audience's permission, either directly or indirectly, and pressing on with the assumption that they've got their tacit approval. Almost always, the audience is not willing to give that approval. If you don't mind, what if I do? Does any listener really have the nerve to say, I mind, change your course and make this about me? Rarely, although I've been tempted. But they'll check out in a moment's notice, start texting. Probably the worst offense here is when the request involves time. With your permission, I'm going to go long by about 5 minutes. I don't recall ever giving you my permission to run long. You assumed that you had my permission, and that's a faulty assumption at best. I've seen that phrase used to justify chasing rabbits, getting political, using foul language, and even changing the subject from what was advertised. In each case, I would have professionally advised the speaker to avoid what came next. Taking your audience for granted almost always serves to disengage them from the topic at hand, and it likely alienates them as well. Just the phraseology tips them off that you are speaking with your best interests in mind, not your audience's. Instead, make a statement that tells the audience they are the driving force behind the content and promise them what they will get. Perhaps, I've heard from several of you during the break, and they convinced me that covering another topic is more in line with your interests. Or just tell the story without telling them that you want their permission to tell the story. Under no circumstance do I want a speaker to announce and run over their allotted time. Never! But that's another topic, and I don't have your permission to address it here in this edition. But it's on tap for a future edition, for sure. If you don't mind, and all of its variants, they undermine your credibility, your likability, and your connection with the audience. And they are definitely what not to say.